Good afternoon. Welcome to News Hour Live on GBC News, your news and governance channel. My name is Shirley Annan. The Ghana School of Law is taking steps to address the acute space inadequacies restricting the number of students admitted to pursue professional law in the country. The school is projecting that in 3 years' time, with the measures being adopted by the government and management of the school, additional space would be created to clear the backlog of qualified prospective students. The coordinator of the Kumasi campus of the Ghana School of Law, Mr. Michael Janwusu, made this known to the media on the fringes of a ceremony to formally admit fresh students to undertake professional legal education. To enhance access to professional legal education in Ghana, the Ghana School of Law opened 2 additional campuses, including the Kumasi premises, in the 2010 to 2011 academic year. This initiative has since been justified through the excellent performance of students from the Kumasi campus who have won prizes almost every year during the call to the bar. 107 post-LLB students who were offered admission to pursue professional law education have also been formally admitted to the law school to undergo 2-year training at the Kumasi campus. This brings to 287 the total number of students on the campus admitted to study interpretation of deeds and statutes, alternative dispute resolution, family law and practice, civil and criminal procedure, among other courses. The Ashanti Regional President of the Ghana Bar Association, Mr. Kwame Wusu-Setre, cautioned the students not to be parading themselves as legal luminaries.
If you fail to abide by the ethics, there are sanctions associated with it. And now the disciplinary committee of the General Legal Council are there to ensure that these sanctions are applied so as to ensure that the dignity and the image of the profession is protected. Now you are learning to be learned. Please avoid a situation where you go to the media, very little discussion, then they call you and then you react as legal luminary and other things. Please, you are not there yet. Take your time, learn it, experience it before you go out and purport to educate people on the law.
The head of department at the Law Faculty of the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, Professor Lydia Aporin-Kansa, advised the student lawyers to abide by the requirements to exhibit professionalism in dealing with clients. In an interview, the coordinator of the Kumasi campus of the Ghana School of Law, Mr. Michael Janwusu, was optimistic there would be more space for more admissions in the next few years.
One thing we have noticed, especially with the Kumasi campus, we have smaller numbers and smaller class sizes. I think that the smaller classes are better managed. The students have better interactions with the lawyers and the lecturers, and therefore, at the end of the day, it translates into a better result.
Only 3 of Ghana's public universities have the requisite IT infrastructure for effective online teaching and learning. The government is therefore being urged to make online learning platforms an integral part of Ghana's educational system, especially in the era of the COVID-19 pandemic, which has forced teaching and learning to move online due to its related restrictions. The call was made at the 7th annual Baraka Policy Public Lectures in Accra. The latest edition of the annual Baraka Policy Institute Public Lectures focused on the use of technology for teaching and learning during the COVID-19 pandemic. After an analysis of Ghana's educational response to COVID-19 compared with that of Singapore, speakers at the forum agreed that Ghana is still lagging behind in the use of ICT technology for educational purposes. This is because the universities of Ghana, Cape Coast and the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology are said to be the only public institutions of higher learning in the country with adequate ICT infrastructure for full-time online teaching and learning. Hence, participants agreed that COVID-19 has revolutionized the use of digital technologies and mobile apps in higher educational institutions in the country. An IT consultant and president of the Lakeside University College, Ghana, Dr. Mohamed Sani Abdullahi, addressed the state of ICT infrastructure in the various universities in Ghana and their readiness to move fully online as the pandemic persists.
The student learning platform is a learning management system containing curriculum and live resources for various subjects made accessible to all teachers and students. On this platform, the teachers were able to monitor through GPS the performance of every student, right? So they're leveraging technology in all what we're doing to make informed decisions when providing targeted interventions to address gaps in learning.
An education consultant and former member of the Ghana Education Service Council, Mr. Anis Hafar, spoke about the misuse of the internet by students.
All the information that we have on Google, it's not about memorizing them anymore, because machine will do a better job of memorizing than you. Your business is to put it to use. In our time, we had to memorize information because information was sacrosanct, which means that it was like it came from heaven. It was sacred. Not that way anymore.
The chairman of the Baraka Policy Institute, Mr. Nam Al-Hassan Andani, called for the remodeling of Ghana's educational system to reflect modern ICT trends. The 7th annual Baraka Policy Public Lectures was on the theme Navigating Effective Teaching and Learning in Post-Pandemic Era. Still in news, the Ghana Health Service has reviewed COVID-19 protocols for international travelers who use the Kotoka International Airport. This follows a surge in coronavirus cases recorded at the airport, as well as an anticipated increase in international arrivals during the festive season. A statement from the Ministry of Health indicates that globally, several countries are experiencing their fourth wave, and a number of travelers from these countries come to Ghana, and this is expected to increase during the festive season. In November 2020, 168 cases were detected compared to 241 cases in November 2021, an increase of over 40%. The statement further says Ghana recently recorded 34 cases of the new Omicron variant, but has not yet recorded community transmissions of the variant. According to the statement, effective midnight of December 12, 2021, all persons 18 years and above arriving in Ghana will be required to provide evidence of full vaccination for a COVID-19 vaccine. All unvaccinated Ghanaians and residents of Ghana who are currently outside the country and intend to return within 14 days from the midnight of December 12, 2021 are exempted. However, they would be vaccinated on arrival at the airport. All Ghanaians traveling out of the country are to be fully vaccinated effective midnight December 12, 2021. The Eastern Regional Health Directorate has a target to vaccinate 2,134,787 persons across the region. As of 6th December 2021, 364,833 doses of the vaccine had been administered. A total of 324,346 persons received one dose of the vaccine, while 50,486 persons, representing 2.4% of the targeted population, have been fully vaccinated. This was disclosed by the Regional Director of Health Service, Dr. Winfred Ofosu, at a news briefing on the vaccination and management of the COVID-19 pandemic in the region.
Of 6th December this year, the Eastern region had recorded 6,605 confirmed cases of the COVID-19. Out of the number, 6,466, representing 97%, have recovered and been discharged. Unfortunately, 136 of the cases, representing 2%, lost their lives. Dr. Winfred Ofosu is the Eastern Regional Director of Health Service.
Vaccination exercise is going on at the various health directorates, hospitals, health centers, clinics, CHIPS compounds, schools, and other designated vaccination posts in all the 33 districts of our region. All persons 15 years and above are encouraged to visit a designated vaccination post with a valid identification card to get vaccinated. The vaccines are safe and protect you from severe COVID-19 disease and deaths due to COVID-19.
According to him, close to 100,000 pupils and students have been targeted for COVID-19 vaccination in the region before they vacate.
Ghana Service will continue to play its role in the COVID-19 pandemic management by strengthening the enhanced surveillance system, contact tracing, case management, risk communication, and social mobilization in all districts of the region to ensure that all citizens and residents in our region and beyond remain safe and secure.
He said they would find ways to clear misinformation about the immunization to achieve success.
Still on COVID-19, the Ministry of Health has announced that government will from January next year inspect the vaccination cards of all commercial drivers and motorbike riders to ensure that they have taken the COVID-19 shots. Additionally, workers of all government institutions and health facilities will not be allowed into their workplaces if they do not show their vaccination certificates, while absence from work for this reason will deprive a worker of his or her salary. Students 15 years or above, as well as all teaching and non-teaching staff of secondary and tertiary institutions, are also expected to be vaccinated before the next academic year. According to the ministry, the move forms part of measures by government to whip up interest as it seeks to vaccinate about 20 million people before the end of the year 2021. Farmers in the West Mamprusi district of Wale in the northern region have appealed to the Minister for Food and Agriculture, Dr. Owusu Efri-Akoto, to see to the completion of the warehouse and mechanization center projects in the district. The farmers also asked to be provided with tools to increase the production of shea, coffee and rubber. The requests were made when the Agriculture Minister toured the northern and northeast regions to see how the Planting for Food and Jobs program was faring in those areas.
The three-day tour took the Minister for Food and Agriculture, Dr. Owusu Efri-Akoto, to the northern and northeast regions. He spoke of supporting farmers with seeds and fertilizer to increase their yields. The minister said the building of warehouses, provision of improved seedlings to farmers, and the promotion of livestock through the SIP, among others, were impacting positively on agricultural production in the country. At the Dagbon Overlord's Palace, the Paramount Chief, Yana Abubakar, appealed to the government for adequate and early release of fertilizers to farmers. The MCE of the West Mamprusi, Mr. Aramiel Basintali, said farmers in the area need warehouses to store their produce. He said lack of these facilities has resulted in huge losses to the farmers, citing a recent fire outbreak on a rice farm. The minister assured the indigents that the government will treat the request with the urgency it deserved.
This warehouse is packed to the rafters with processed rice, ready for distribution around the country. It is one of those warehouses which has come into operation as quickly as it has been completed. You can see from the compound as well that we have farm machinery, which is the basis for organizing AMSECs, which are the agricultural mechanization centers. Where we stand today is really capturing all the aspects of Planting for Food and Jobs, and one district, one warehouse, and on the surpluses that we are now witnessing in the agricultural sector.
The minister also paid a courtesy call on the overlord of the Mampugu traditional area, Nabuhagu Mahami Abdullahi Sheriga, at his palace at Nalerigo in the northeast region.
Back here in Accra, President Akufo-Addo has declared his government's fight against corruption as strong deeds and not mere rhetoric. At the 2021 Anti-Corruption Day and Human Rights Day commemoration in Accra, the president said his unwavering commitment to the fight against corruption remains his fervent resolve, and he will not set aside due process in any corruption investigation concerning any member of his government. The International Anti-Corruption Day is to advance the anti-corruption agenda by raising awareness and stimulating debate. It fosters networking, sharing of ideas, and a global exchange of experience that are indispensable for effective advocacy and action on a global and national level. The advocacy drives home the need for citizens to see corruption as not only immoral but serious crime, an act which must attract the most severe sanctions, and the need to enforce anti-corruption laws to protect public resources. Ghana's celebrations for the year was two-pronged: the celebration of Anti-Corruption Day and the Human Rights Day. It is being spearheaded by the Commissioner of Human Rights and Administrative Justice, Shraj. The Commissioner of Human Rights and Administrative Justice, Mr. Joseph Vital, said though Ghana is making strides in the fight against corruption, more must be done.
There are three most important legislation which are outstanding. These are the Conduct of Public Officers Bill, which is the COPO Bill, 2021, the amendment to the Commission on Human Rights and Administrative Justice Act, 1993, Act 456, to operationalize charge as the National Preventive Mechanism of Ghana, and the Whistleblower Amendment Bill.
A justice of the Supreme Court, Justice Yoni Kulendin, said citizens are right in their demand of leaders to minimize corruption in the country.
The citizens undoubtedly are right to expect that with the adoption of NACAP, corruption would have been brought under significant control.
Presenting the Corruption and Human Rights Report, the Deputy Commissioner of Shraj, Mr. Richard Quason, said lack of investment in the fight against corruption, lack of strong corruption enforcement laws are impeding progress. The President, Nana Akufo-Addo, said he has demonstrated in the past 5 years that he remains committed to the fight against corruption.
We've protected the public purse, we've made institutional reforms, we have enacted additional requisite laws, and we have resourced more adequately the accountability organs of state. Our fight against corruption has been grounded on legislative, financial, and institutional action, and not on lip service.
Building a culture of integrity for generations was the theme for the conference. President Akufo-Addo also launched the National Cultural Review Program and the School's Integrity Project to bring awareness to pupils. He also symbolically passed over the integrity torch to kickstart the program. Meanwhile, the president says the slow pace of high-profile corruption cases is of concern, while criminal cases against other members of society are swiftly disposed of. Nana Akufo-Addo says this worrying trend deepens the perception of inequality before the law. He appealed to the Judicial Service to attach speed and efficiency to conclusively deal with these cases to affirm the principle of equality before the law.
It is unreasonable and unfair for so-called high-profile criminal cases involving the summary offenses of fraud, willfully causing financial loss to the state, and money laundering to drag on for years, whilst criminal cases filed against perceived ordinary members of society are concluded within 6 months to 1 year. These developments deepen the perception of inequity in our society. The judiciary has a great role to play in the eradication of corruption. The best way to do so is by the speedy, efficient, and just adjudication of cases, especially so-called high-profile prosecutions, in order to affirm the principle of equality before the law.
You're still watching News Hour live on GBC News, your news and governance channel. The National Malaria Control Program has started the distribution of long-lasting insecticide mosquito nets to various communities in the Greater Accra region. The exercise, which is expected to go countrywide, will have about 15 million nets distributed to households and mothers, especially pregnant women. The drive is meant to ensure that at least every household has a net.
The National Malaria Control Program, NMCP, together with the Ghana Health Service, is expected to distribute over 3 million long-lasting treated insecticide mosquito nets to households in the Greater Accra region. The week-long distribution is part of the point mass distribution campaign led by the National Malaria Control Program, NMCP, and the Ghana Health Service. The program started last month with the registration of eligible persons in various communities. It is now time for the distribution.
We have a list of who we are giving the nets to and how many that we are giving the nets. Then we go and bring the nets. And we put the nets at distribution points like the one I have behind me. And people come to the distribution point with the ID card that they registered with, or a special code that we give to them after the registration, and they come and get their nets. So you get the nets depending on the number of people that you have in your household.
The team was at the Achimota Hospital, where they distributed over 200 nets to pregnant women who had come for their routine antenatal care and those who had registered for the nets. They were also at the Achimota market.
It is important that you sleep under the treated mosquito net. When you are not feeling well, go to the hospital, let them do a lab test to ensure that it is malaria before they give you the malaria treatment. Don't go to a pharmacy to go and buy anything because you as a mother, you've experienced malaria before and you know the medication that you were given, so you go and buy it. It is wrong because so many ailments and sicknesses present as malaria. It may not be malaria.
At the Kaneshi Polyclinic, every pregnant woman received a net. They were told why it is very necessary to sleep under the net. The long-lasting treated insecticide mosquito net is one of the malaria control interventions being spearheaded by the National Malaria Control Program. The Ashanti region is the next region to benefit from the point mass net distribution campaign.
The Sojaman District Assembly in the Eastern Region has started construction of a 60-bed capacity district hospital at Apegusu. The hospital, when completed, is expected to serve over 100,000 people in the district.
Sojaman District is one of the rural districts in the Eastern Region with a population of 98,046. Apart from the Volta River Authority Hospital in Akosombo, the district has no other hospital, making access to health care difficult to some people in the district. More often, some of the people have to travel as far as to Peki, Ho, or Kofredia to access health care. The Assembly, in an effort to alleviate the suffering of people, has started constructing a 60-bed district hospital at Apegusu. The project is expected to be completed in 12 months. When completed, the health facility will have administration block, OPD, laboratory and diagnostics center, accident and emergency ward, public health, physiotherapy, surgical unit, male and female medical and surgical wards, maternity ward, mortuary and staff quarters. The supervising consultant on the project, Mr. Charles Blankson-Hemans of CBH Group and Hospital Infrastructure Group, assured the people the project would be completed on time.
We are determined to do it, with your help, of course. And the contract period, I think, is about 12 months. So within about a year, all things being equal, we will put it up so that the community can benefit from it.
The Mankralo of Ekwamu Adonti traditional area, Apegusu Nana Dede Akwe, and treated all to support the contractors and take ownership of the project.
Contractor na consultant n'echi na adwuma no etimi akọ ewie pa ama ye nyina.
The Esujaman District Chief Executive, Mr. Samuel Kwame Ejikum, said the Assembly would work together with the Ministry of Health to see the successful completion of the hospital, which is as part of Government's Agenda 111.
It's the news live on GBC News, your news and governance channel. We take a break. When we come back, we'll do some more stories. Please stay with us.
Afternoon, we continue news hour with business. My name is Morris Ogbetino. Ghana is set to have its first electric vehicle assembling plants in Accra in 2022 as the country becomes increasingly attractive to global automotive giants. The Institute for Energy Security believes the coming on board of the South African-based company will help create jobs, reduce carbon emissions, and accelerate Ghana's transitioning to green energy.
Ghana has her eye on becoming a fully integrated and competitive industrial hub for the automotive industry in West Africa. The country has since witnessed growing interest from global automotive players, with Volkswagen, Nissan, Sinotruk setting up assembling plants in Accra. The latest to express interest in Ghana's growing automotive industry is Agility, a South African-based electric vehicle and green tech manufacturer. As part of the deal to set up in Ghana, the green tech company will establish an electric vehicle assembling plant, battery swapping stations, and solar charging facilities in the country. The setting up of an electric vehicle plant is expected to encourage usage of electric vehicles in the country as government develops an electric mobility policy.
The amount of carbon that we emit as a country will reduce, and that will be good for climate change because it is out of this carbon emission that we get global warming, and the global warming impacts on our weather and the pattern of events that we see today. So it's a good one.
Chief Executive Agility, Dr. Manla Lamba, said Ghana was chosen due to her promising automobile industry and readiness for eco-friendly solutions.
We believe that Ghana is more ready for this green evolution because the president of Ghana has been doing his part, not just in Ghana, but for the entire continent. One of the smartest leaders Africa has ever had. And now we're looking forward to penetrate the market.
The United Nations at the just ended COP26 in Glasgow pleaded with urgent action to limit global warming to below 2 degrees Celsius. Experts believe the adoption of electric vehicles and smart solutions will help reduce Ghana's carbon emission.
Away from that story, the Ghana Shippers Authority and the Judicial Training Institute have held a maritime law training in Accra to update the knowledge of judges on current developments in the international maritime law.
Over the years, the Ghana Shippers Authority has mediated and resolved thousands of shipper complaints. The experience gathered while executing that mandate of the authority provides a glimpse of the enormous task the judges have in adjudication of cases in order to promote social justice and facilitate the operations of a fair, efficient, and transparent legal system. Maritime trade's contributions to the nation's economic development is very significant. As a result of this, there have been deliberate efforts to ensure that players in the space interact with each other frequently to ensure clarity of legal procedures both locally and internationally. Also, clear institutional, professional, and policy drives aimed at enhancing the development of the maritime industry in Ghana have been established. It is for this reason that we, at Shippers Authority, have over the years collaborated with the Judicial Training Institute to organize the maritime law seminars for our judges.
Still in business, public-private partnerships are to feature significantly in Ghana's infrastructure and service procurement. The concept, which has been in the works since 2011, seeks to draw public and private synergies to close the country's infrastructural gap. As the Finance Ministry prepares to fully execute PPPs, a 9-member complaints committee has been sworn in to serve the purpose of redress between government agencies and the private sector when the need arises. The public-private partnership procurement architecture has been cast. The PPP Act, Act 1039-2020, has been promulgated. Ghana is now ready to tap the benefit of this type of procurement that reduces the financial burden on government and yet gets the job done. The Act regulates contracts between public contracting authorities and private parties for the provision of public infrastructure or services. The new Act has introduced a framework for the approval of PPP projects and has increased the requisite financial threshold for approval of a project. Stipulated by the Act, the Finance Ministry on Thursday swore in a 9-member complaints committee.
The PPP Act, according to Section 67, establishes a PPP complaints panel for the bidding processes. Ladies and gentlemen, as you are aware, the PPP arrangement is an innovative way through which governments around the world, including ours, can provide public infrastructure and services. With the use of PPPs, public infrastructure and services can be delivered in effort to relieve fiscal pressure.
Justice of the Supreme Court, Her Ladyship Justice Lovelace Johnson, is the chair of the committee. It is expected that the composition of the PPP Complaints Committee will promote investor confidence in the infrastructure sector and will drive development. The news will continue after this break. Stay with us.